So women are the foundation of our reality. And that's why it's very difficult for me to see any religion as truthful, okay, and reality based. Because when you look at, I'm going to go through a couple of different ones here, but first I want to state part of history, which is all the harm done to everyone is mainly and predominantly done by men. You know, rape, murder, war, all of it is done by men. And, you know, men are aggressive and physically aggressive and more, and that, you know, if we think about science, you know, it's testosterone and things like that. But we just look at history and we see, I mean, even men themselves are afraid of other men. Men are in danger because of other men. So men are kind of the source of the instability and the pain and the suffering in the world. And this is just a fact, like a statistical fact. It's not to say that there doesn't exist a small amount or some amount, an unknown amount of men who are really good. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're doing is we're revealing the truth. And the truth is that most suffering in the world, if not all of it, is caused by men. And also, if you're a man and you are thinking to yourself, well, I'm suffering, you know, and things are unfair, and my mental health isn't being considered, and such, we have to ask, well, who created the system? The system, the laws, and all of this, whether it's America in the Constitution, or whether it's whatever country you're in, most likely the laws and the system and the politics is predominantly set and controlled by men. So, you know, even for men, they're not being considered by other men in terms of, you know, respected. So, and they're being hurt. So, but something that's interesting, something that bugs me, you know, in religion, a lot of religions, Christianity and Islam and such, they often refer to God as Father, okay, which feels wrong, okay, it feels wrong, and I don't think that, and I don't feel that the religions are actually valuing truth and valuing the truth of, you know, what things are actually like, which is that women, because of women, we are here. Because of women, none of these religions would exist to begin with, you know, our prophets and all of this. Because if you look at Yeshua, or Jesus, depending on how you want to say his name, he had no earthly father. He didn't even have a father. The only father, he had no physical father in this world, okay? And he turned out really wonderfully, right? He had no father. His only father, and the Trinity thing is also nonsensical to me. But, you know, they talk about the Father, the Spirit, the Son, and everything. But they say that the father of Yeshua, the father of Jesus, was God, right? And God is Father, and they refer to God as the Father. So the most, I would say, holy man in history didn't even have a physical father. The only actually earthly parent he had was a mother. And that was Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene was the only earthly parent that Yeshua, Jesus, had. Yeshua only had one physical, actual parent, and that was Mary Magdalene. And he's considered the prophet, and he's considered, very pure, loving, wonderful human being. And if you see it as, depends on how you look at it, but if you have heard about star seeds, he's also considered a star seed, Yeshua. And it's interesting because his only parent was his mother. And the only father figure he had was God himself. So there was no physical father there to protect him or care for him or do anything. It was the mother who was raising him alone, which is very interesting. So it kind of shows that the family is the mother and child. The father is kind of the absent spiritual, He's absent, even to one of the biggest stories in history. He's absent. The father is absent. He's a spiritual, non-physical being, right? Which is very interesting. And I believe that a religion that diminishes, controls, or erases the feminine is anti-truth. It's not a religion worth following. If it diminishes or controls or erases the feminine, it's not a religion worth following. And I don't think it's the true teachings. And I don't feel like that's actually what God intended. That's not the message that God or Yeshua or any of them was actually trying to bring forth. And then we can look at Islam, and Islam also reduces women to powerless objects. Most of the religions do this. It's weird because they have figures that proves that women are the basis of our reality. If it wasn't for women, we wouldn't be here. Nothing would. And the men wouldn't have ever created what they created. And it's just so ironic because inside of a religion, they put the man first, and they talk about God as the father, and they talk about men are the providers, the protectors, and all of this stuff. But here comes another thing. Also, Yeshua, he had a lot of women who were supporting him. They were materialistically supporting him. They were, supporting him financially, his mission and what he was doing. Women did that. They supported him. So what we see, and here's the other example of Islam reduces women to powerless objects. If you look at Khadija, that was Muhammad's first wife, right? And the interesting thing is Khadija, she supported Muhammad financially and spiritually. She was the main provider. She was supporting him financially and spiritually. So if it wasn't for this, the foundation of the religion relied on a woman's financial, emotional, and spiritual support. Where in the world, even the prophet himself, didn't live up to or even follow what supposedly the religion talks about, and also he married a child. She was either 6 or 9 or whatever. It's not really that important. The point is that she was a child. I mean, does that sound like a good man to you? Does that sound like a good man to you? I don't believe so. But despite the fact that she was married away at such a young age, She went above and beyond, and she gathered and saved the hadiths and lots of documents, and she preserved Islam. She sacrificed a lot. So if you look at reality, how things really are, the fact of the matter is, the women, truthfully, are the ones who have financially supported, spiritually supported, physically supported, even the prophets themselves. Throughout history, women are the ones who have sacrificed, who have done everything. So, I'm not for a second going to believe that God is Father. God is Mother. Our true parent is our mother, okay? It's not to reduce every father out there, because, there are fathers out there who are good fathers, right? But we have to truly value, we have to actually see women for what they are, which is sovereign, powerful beings, spiritually, psychologically, mentally intelligent, emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent. They're great. That's the point. History proves how incredible women are, but none of the religions truly acknowledge it. They always, it's strange because in the books, it proves that women are the root of reality, is our connection to God, is our connection to divinity. That's what all of history proves. Even the books themselves prove that. But all the laws, all the rules, all the intellectual stuff, all of that is anti-truth and anti-women. So that's my message here. And so, but the question would linger in the end is so what's the purpose of a man? What is a man? If we look at all this and we realize that women have always been the true providers, they've always been the emotional support, they're the backbone of the family, they're the one who raises the children. Again, I know there are dads out there who are good. I'm not saying it doesn't exist at all, but I'm talking about the reality. I'm talking about the majority. I'm talking about the history, how it really is. And women are great providers. Women are great providers financially, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. And they have all throughout all of history basically done all of that. So, what is religion trying to say? They're trying to present men as if they are the ones who do that. But that's not the case. So, what is a man? What is the position of a man? If we think about the truth of everything, well, the position of a man is to create a safe space. That's it. That is it. And men have failed at doing that because the world is not a safe space for anybody, not even for men themselves. So the main goal for men and the purpose of man is to create a safe space for everybody. I mean, you look at it, you see a video online, you see a man, helping and doing good and creating a good environment and a safe space. It makes you cry because you feel how truthful that is. You feel that, man, that is right, So the true purpose of a man is to create a safe space, And at this point, with the way the world is, it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of work. And a safe space is both physically and spiritually, because a man has to create a safe space within himself, because what's within comes out in a way, right? So you create a safe space within yourself spiritually, and then it grows out into the world. So that's what I wanted to say about that. And God bless you all. God bless Sophia, Mother God, and God bless all women out there, and you should all know, if it wasn't for the women out there, what would any of these holy books have been? I mean, where would we have been, you know? So it's just, the reality and the truth is women. That's the reality of the truth. And for us men, we, to the best of our ability, and we have to try and just, we have to make a safe space, okay? And by that, it also means behaving and being someone who is safe to be around, you know? Creating a safe space in every way we can. And if you don't have resources and you can't build something, then at least build up yourself to be a safe space. That you're a safe space, you know? In any way you can, you have to expand the safe space out and make a safe space for everybody. Other men, children, women, everybody. That's the role of the man. That's the true role, because all these holy books, the Bible and the Quran and all this, are fantasies. They're male fantasies, okay? Because they're saying men are doing all these things, men are supposed to do all these things, but it's a fantasy. Because they can't even achieve the most basic role of a man, which is to make safe space. To make a safe space for everybody. They can't even do that, you know? So, and that is the main role of a man. Once there's a safe space, you can start thinking about all those other things. But first things first is to create a safe space within yourself, around yourself, in the world, all around. Safe space. That's what's important.